Today's sitting is the first sitting of the second session of the first parliament. This parliament was actually inaugurated on the 1st of May 2023, and today we are starting our second session. Honourable members, prayers. Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favour upon this parliament of the youth governance system of the International Youth Network for UN Security Council Resolution 2250. Grant that it may perform its duty as in thy sight. Give divine guidance to the youth president and his youth ministers. Endow youth members of parliament with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of this administration, the interests and wishes of members may be well and truly served, and their good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us a vision of our network, fair as it might be, a network of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, a network of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a network of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service and honor shall be given to the deserving, a network of peace, where this youth government shall rest on the will of its members and the love for the common good. Bless the efforts of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen up to speed the day of the coming beauty of the youth government system. 2250. Ghana and Africa. I want to welcome you to today's sitting. This sitting has been much anticipated since the start of the year. Unfortunately, it couldn't start. This was dependent on matters arising, and that is why we are here today, to settle the differences between leadership and members. And then from there, we can start the pace of transformation and reviving this August house. Announcement for today is very simple, which is number one, to announce the new leadership of Parliament. 2 is to inform members of the availability of appointment letters. 4 is the formation of the new committee on selection. And 5, any other businesses members may deem as relevant for today's discussion. And 6, we are adjourned. Honourable members, kindly take note that after today's, where we can properly debate and test our debating skills again before any subsequent sittings, that I would like to present to honourable members that the vibrancy of a youth parliament is seen at plenary sessions, because youth parliaments or youth members of parliament are deliberators. Our work is seen when we are seen deliberating at plenary. We are not development officers, we are legislators. And due to that, this is how our work will be seen. Honourable members, may I welcome all of you once again. I can see a good number of members joining, and I can also see the clerk to Parliament, Ms. Minutes, as expected. Honourable members, we'll proceed to the first business of today, which is the announcement of new leadership. So, honourable members, on the 28th of June 2024, I was appointed as the Speaker, the new Speaker of Parliament for this August House, and I took my oath at Global Prayer Palace, Ashe in Accra. However, on my appointment letter, my appointment effects from 1st 2024. Right after the swearing in, we proceed under the guidance of the global president and country head to immediately review the leadership. Due to the time span from the last sitting held last year to now, some leaders have obviously lost consciousness, so it was relevant that we review leadership. And upon consultation with the country head and the global president, we finalized on the new leadership. Just not all the roles, it was just some few roles. So, as already announced, I have already taken my oath, but effective from 1st July, John Samegashiplo, the Speaker of Parliament, and under the office of the Speaker, per the letter dated 1st July 2024, titled Appointment of New Leadership of the YGS Youth Parliament, signed by Her Excellency Lady Reverend Lillian Saliado, the Global President. It states that we are pleased to announce Resolution 2250, Ghana Youth Government System Youth Parliament, effective a significant step in our ongoing efforts to strengthen our governance and enhance parliamentary activities. Office of the Speaker, myself. Okay. So Abel said, are you sure the Speaker was not available, or he was asking for something to be done different? Okay. For question 2, I've already answered it. Yes, so Abel, I explained that I took my oath on the 28th of July, but per my appointment letter, my tenure starts from 1st July. I took my oath on the 28th of June, but per my appointment letter, my tenure starts from 1st July, along with the other leaders. Yes, so that's just it. It's not any complication. Now, with respect to the speaker, the formal speaker, so as a matter of fact, the entire vibrancy of the House lies with the speaker. We have been having conversations with the speaker for a very long time. Unfortunately, the speaker has been having some personal issues, leading to his unavoidable absence. However, we reached out to him. You could just ask, why haven't we held a sitting for 6 months? It is enough answer to why such a drastic measure had to be taken. Yes. So that is my answer to you, honorable member. Honorable members, the floor is still open for questions. Please raise your hand if you want to ask a question. I'll call in. Okay. I believe in the absence of any further submissions or questions, I want to once again call on all of you to join hands with us, move this house together. Indeed, we have had setbacks from the start of the year to the end of June. So I want to call on you to join hands with us to move this house to a greater height. Okay. So let's work together. Abel, Honorable Abel, I understand the system that you are talking about. However, this is the current situation that we face. Whatever is being done, on most occasions, not everyone will be in favor. But since this is the voice or the direction, which I would say is in consonance with the wish of majority of members, calling for the House to bounce back to its feet, I call on you to accept this for us to move on. Okay. Yes. However, if you have some reservations, you can equally contact me after sitting and I'll have a discussion with you. No, Honorable, I said I took my oath on the 8th, but the letter says I take effect from 1st July. And that was the same thing I reported. So I don't know what contradiction you are trying to raise. But if you just follow suit, you realize that I've followed suit and there is no contradiction. So please, I kindly cool down and then things will be done. Yes. Honourable members, the criteria for qualifying for a speaker is basically to qualify as an MP. So far as you are a member of parliament, you qualify to be appointed as a speaker. Honourable members, any other submission on the new leadership? Yes, Honorable Abbas, please,
So
let's hear
please,
from you.
I would like to know what were the criteria being used to, with regards to the new leadership. What was the criteria being used to elect those new leadership?
Please, thank you very much. The new leadership were not elected, they were appointed by higher authorities. Okay. They were not elected. No election was held. And as I told you, members would wish for an election. We are in a foundational parliament. So perhaps in the subsequent parliaments that might come at the end of the tenure of this parliament, we can inculcate the election of leadership as you wish. But this new leadership was appointed. Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, honourable members, any other questions or reservations? Yes, Honorable Daniel Ado.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I wanted to ask a question on the previous communique that was released about the various committees in the field of parliament. Aside that, we actually didn't hear anything again from the various committees that anyone interested to join in. So I wanted to know if there is any update to on such committees too as well. And then I apologize for joining the meeting late. But I also wanted to find out how can we also access our confirmation letters to as well. So I wanted you to recap a little bit on what you said earlier on. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Our business for today includes an information on the appointment letters. So when we get there, I'll address matters pertaining to the appointment letters. And when it comes to the issue of committees, I'll address that now. The Speaker chairs the Committee on Selection. The Committee on Selection is responsible for forming committees of the House. The then speakers of then advertise for members who have interest in parliamentary committees to indicate their interest. So if you have indicated your interest and nothing happened, it was because of issues being faced by the then leadership and speakership. So today we'll be forming a new committee since leadership has been revised. A new committee on selection is relevant. And with that, members who have interest in joining some committees of the House, it will be right that you express your interest so that we can fix you at where you are best functionable. Yes, so that is an update on that. Honourable members, any other questions with respect to the new leadership? Any other questions with respect to the new leadership? Okay. Honorable Daniel, are you okay? Are you satisfied
Yes,
with the questions? Okay.
yes, please. I'm okay for now. Ready to follow the
So,
meeting.
thank you very much. So, honorable members, in the absence of any further submissions on this particular matter, on behalf of the new leadership, I want to thank you all again for accepting this new leadership to lead the front. And on behalf of the new leadership, we want to send our kind regards to the former speaker for leading us for an entire year, which was our first session. As a foundational speaker, it comes with a lot of issues and setbacks. Yeah, so we want to thank him for doing his best, and we will continue his good work. So before I bring that particular business to a close, I'd like to once again inform members that those of you who are part of caucuses, please identify your caucus leaders and let them add it to the caucus WhatsApp groups, so that, because at the next sitting to be held next week, we will be holding a debate, and the debate will be done on caucus basis. So just for the records, we have Honorable Dr. Bright Oswansa as the new majority leader, and then Honorable Francis Kadbem Malé as the new minority leader. With due respect, may I just have each of them just make a short remarks, the majority leader and the minority leader. Just make a short remark before we leave this particular item. So, Honorable Dr. Bright Owusu-Ansah, please make a short remarks, and then we hear from the minority leader, and then we move ahead. I think I saw him online. But I think he might be experiencing some network issues. Honorable Minority Leader, let's hear some short remarks from you.
All right, thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker and the House. I would like to thank everyone that made time to join this sitting, and that is the first step to revamp the House. We spent a whole year last year without having any formal sitting, apart from the day we were called for a physical sitting, which was very bad. This time around, we need a change. And that's why we have a new phase of leadership. And the committees, after the formation of the committee, I will plead that we should all make time to take part in activities of all those committees. This house must advertise itself. And before we can advertise ourselves, we can only do that by engaging in what? Issues of national interest. Let's say when you are found on education committee and there's an issue of national interest on education, the committee should be able to come out with their view, if possible, have an article or report which shall be published, or for Ghanaians to read and know that there is a group of people like this who are also interested in the development of this country. And by so doing, we will be seen across the country, wherever. And so these are some of the things I'll plead that we'll get in touch. And more to the point too, we should identify our caucuses, make sure we are on the pages, because when I check on the minority page, the number that we have there is not up to the number of individuals or youth MPs that we have in the caucus. So it means that we have a lot of youth MPs who are not yet on that page. So we should identify our pages and join them. And also the committee pages will be created, which we shall join according to the committees we find ourselves. And we should be ready to carry out research on national interests related to our committees. And this is the only way we can make our voice known to the Ghanaian people. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you very much, our new minority leader. I think that's the deputy majority leader, if I'm right, Honorable Mohammed Abdul Latif. Okay, let's hear from you.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. On behalf of my leader, I seek to take on the remarks of the majority side. I think he has just joined, so I will switch the allegiance to him so that he will proceed on that. I can see his hand is up.
Yes. Thank you very much for doing what is expected of you as a deputy. Honorable Majority Leader, Honorable Bright also. Let's hear short remarks on you on the announcement of the new leadership.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Good evening, House. I apologize to you for joining the group and the Parliament session today late. My greatest respect and admiration to the Deputy Majority Leader for taking the stead of the Majority Leader and the leader of the parliamentary business. I think that Parliament has been on break, recess for a very long time for reasons that are best known to the old leadership. And I want to pray that our convenience today and in the future will further ingrain us in parliamentary procedures and allow us to also learn from certain things that we will need to we need for the projection of our political fortunes and all that. And so I want to just appreciate the leadership, and I want to greatly acknowledge the fact that the new leadership is going to be reinstated. I mean, the leadership is going to be reinstated, and then the business of that particular leadership will lead us on a path that will ensure prosperity for the vision towards the resolution 2250. And so, thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, former leader of the House. I pray that I also learn a lot of things that I need to learn from you. I am not happy that I'm on this side of the House, though, but it is okay to be the majority leader. I hold the highest thing, and I hope that I will be able to forgive my language, whip everybody in line as far as parliamentary business is concerned. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Leader. Yes, I saw Honorable Wisdom's hand up, but his hand came late. We're summarizing this particular item on the other paper. So, Honorable Wisdom, maybe at any other matters, you might revisit your concern. Thank you very much. Honorable members, we'll move to the next item on the other paper. The next item on the other paper is availability of appointment letters. Honorable members, on behalf of the Parliament as a whole, we apologize for the delay of appointment letters. It had to start with the database, and then after the database, the person to prepare it. Luckily, our amiable second Deputy Speaker, Honorable Victoria, has been able to work on that for us. So all your appointment letters are ready. kindly contact her. We'll share her contact again after today's sitting. Please contact her and she will share your appointments letter with you. And as well, the database, some members might not know their constituency. So we'll try and share the database as well so that you see your constituency. Now, an issue that members will have with the appointment letters is that it came so late. And I acknowledge that particular challenge, if I may say. Our tenure was originally supposed to be 1 year, but due to the delay, an extension was made to the end of this year, making it 17 months. And yes, we acknowledge that a whole year has been wasted. And these are issues that we face when the foundation is not that strong. But we are working on that. So the foundation will become stronger.
I finally found it.
Members
Now who's gonna
as well. Members as well will have issue with the fact that what is left to be done with just these 6 months left to the expiration of tenure. So the plan is that we will use the remainder of the tenure to strengthen the structures. Strengthen the structures and fill all the seats. And by the time we'll be approaching the end of tenure, members who wish to continue on to the second parliament, it's all about notifying us. But members who wish to drop will just notify us and then we fill in their seats. And after we fill in their seats, then we can now transition into the second parliament. And the second parliament's tenure can start from January 2025. And then that is when we can actually work full, acknowledging that a full tenure has been given. However, I wish for us to rather resolve that with the cumbersome nature of this house. I think 1 year would be an issue. Perhaps we can make it 2 years. 2 years to ensure that members can have adequate time. Because the issue about this 1 year is that it means getting to the end of the year, we need to go through the entire process again, advertising nominations. So we can relook at it and make a proposal to the country head that perhaps the next parliament should have 2 years so that they can have adequate time to perform their duties. So that would be 2025 to 2027, January 2025 to December 2026. I think that will be okay. Members can have adequate time to function, and we can use the remainder of this tenure to fill all the seats. But it's not all about filling all the seats. As leadership is working on filling the seats, we are still going to form the committees of the House. Sittings will be held, members will speak to issues, and they'll be projected. One need that the House has is that we need someone to voluntarily design our flyers for us, because all members of parliament are supposed to have a flyer, but we don't have a graphic designer for that purpose. So I want to make a clarion call to members who can assist us with graphic design to avail themselves and do that for us. Thank you very much. Honourable members, any submissions on this particular matter?
Oh, that bee is eating my ass yogurt.
Honourable members, the floor is open. the floor is open on the issue of appointment letters. Please raise your hand and I'll call you. Yes, Honorable Samuel Atta Fosu.
Sorry, please. I want the question again. Sorry.
Yes, we were speaking on appointment letters. So if you have a matter pertaining to the appointment letters, you can speak to that.
Okay, hello. Hello, good evening once again. I think you delivered a great speech tonight, and I would want to suggest something. With what you submitted, that we should extend the tenure of MPs from a year to 2 years. I think it's a great initiative, and I support that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, members, any other submission on this particular matter? Please, you can. Yes, Honorable Joseph. Let's hear from you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, House. Good evening, House. Honorable, please, with regards to the appointment that has finally come out, my question that I want to ask is, if we are taking this appointment letter to the leaders of our community to be recognized, we don't have any card. There is, I want to ask if the House is going to give us at least a card to show, because if we are going, we're going with only just an appointment letter that has already was dated from how do you call it, May last year, and we don't like, I don't know how to explain it, but how do we call it, anything that shows. So when you go and then submit them, why this time? And why is it that you are now getting this? You are bringing now this. What card does it show that indeed you are saying the truth or whatever? To ask, would they card for us, which will shows that indeed we are part of this organization? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable. Yes, Honorable Majority Leader, let's hear from you.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. And once again, I'd like to acknowledge the concerns that Honorable Joseph Question has raised. I am particularly interested in this because we know we have taken too long in getting our appointment letters. And unfortunately, they can't be any sort of to make you be identified when you meet your members of. But the major concern that particular side, I think that it is too late to be introducing yourselves to members of parliament, real life members of parliament, because this is an election year. We have just about some 3 months or 4 months to the election. Members of parliament for their respective constituencies will be very busy with their parliamentary duties alongside campaigning for those of them who want to retain their seats, alongside campaigning. And so I don't know if it sits well with the House, but left to me alone, I think I would want to propose that these appointment letters should be made to take effect next year. Because if the term of office for members of parliament is going to be for a 2-year duration, if I heard you right, if the term of office is going to be for a 2-year duration, then it means that the moment you issue an introductory letter introducing youth members of parliament to their respective youth members, members of parliament in the Ghanaian parliament. It means that you have to issue another introductory letter the following year. So, because we are also low on funds and low on our budget is not very supportive of some of these things. I would want to recommend to the house that this particular exercise be postponed to next year. We were supposed to do this about a year ago, and this did not happen. We waited and waited, but now we cannot, uh, blame anybody for these things because you have a new leadership. So I'm going to propose to the house that if it sits well with the house, any oppositions to my concerns can be raised. But I believe that if this particular exercise is carried out next year, when new members of parliament are sworn in or even retained, then I believe that we will have no cause to be alarmed about how our budget is going to support us. That being said, um, I want to believe that the tenure of office for this new leadership um, is going to elapse in the next 2 years. By that doesn't mean that the leadership of the of parliament is what is lasting for 2 years, or our previous 1 year as members of parliament has elapsed, and so we have only just 1 year left on our term to serve. Please indicate that and let us know the exact day that that particular term of office begins, and let us know when it ends, exactly when it ends. Does our 2 year period begin from this time as parliamentarians, or it our 1 year period still holds? I mean, our previous 1 year period still holds, and this new leadership is the one taking the 2 year term of office. I don't know if my query makes sense, but I believe that I have satisfied the request I want to put on board. So please indicate to
Indeed.
us and duly acknowledge the request for postponement of introductory letters as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So thank you for answering some questions asked by the honorable member. Let me answer the ones left and yours before I take the next member. Yeah, so yes, as of now, as the majority leader said, your members of parliament are working on getting re-elected or exiting parliament. The best we can do, if they will not accept your appointment letter as evidence that you hold such office, I can work on an attestation letter that you are indeed a member of parliament. But that letter is only per request if you request for it for such purpose, to attest to the fact that indeed you are a member of this house representing his constituency, and the letter will be addressed to him. But apart from that, I agree with the majority leader with the circumstance. Now, answering questions posed by the majority leader, this new leadership is for the current parliament, and the current parliament would end at the end of the tenure as indicated by the appointment letter. So it means at the end of this tenure, a new tenure or a second parliament, which is the succeeding parliament, ought to come into force. So from now, this new leadership is for the current parliament. And when we do a good job in fully composing the House for the second parliament, our appointments can be renewed for us to start the second parliament coming early 2025. Yes. So it's all about us doing a good work. If we don't do a good work, there is no reason for us to be retained as leaders. So for now, our appointment is based on our current appointment letter, which states that our appointments will be exhausted on 31st December 2024. So that's why I'm saying let's prioritize on fully composing the House getting all the seats filled. And members who want to continue to the next parliament, they indicate. And then all our arrangements will be for the next parliament. Appointments letters and all other letters prepared for the next parliament. And then when this house will be dissolved, the new house will be formed thereafter. And if the current leadership deserves the renewal of appointment, we can be given. Or if members say that leadership is supposed to be elected, if the House agrees, then so be it. Leadership will be elected. So it depends on the work we do. Honorable Majority Leader, have I answered your questions?
Thank you, Right
Do you have
Honorable
a
Speaker.
follow-up?
I believe that
Yes, please.
you've answered it in part, and I would want to ask again, exactly when does this particular term of office begin? Because now we have a new leadership that is being sworn in, an entirely new leadership. As far as the leadership of the speakership is concerned, and also the leadership of the House is concerned, be it majority or minority, our term of office remains undetermined as members of parliament. You just indicated that the term of office will be for a 2-year duration, if I heard correctly.
No, the point of correction, I was
Okay.
calling that the next parliament, instead of having a 1-year tenure, should have 2 years.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank
For
you.
us,
Thank you for the
our
clarification.
tenure has already been determined ending by the end of the year.
By the end of the year.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
All right. Thank you very much. So I want to also stress on the point of the introductory letters. You see, the point is not in whether the members of parliament will truly recognize us as youth MPs or not. The point is in the duration and the timing. An attestation letter might not necessarily suffice the particular query I'm raising. So my request really is that instead of going to these members of parliament with an introductory letter, and I'm sorry to use the word, to waste money on printing. I'm using waste because we don't have resources. We don't have a lot of funds to fund some of these things. Now, if we have to use money in such an exercise, that is going to see some of the members of parliament currently in the Ghanaian parliament exit office. Okay, by the time that they are going to receive these introductory letters from the youth MPs, then I think that that exercise will be something that we shouldn't engage or entertain. We should find some other alternative in working to making sure that this particular parliament was duly established on a particular date, and this was the accomplishments that the parliament has had. If all it has to do is to just issue introductory letters to and present it to the various members of parliament, and then nothing is done at the end of the day, I believe that we may not have been said to be, have done our job as we were expected to. And this is important because legacies are very necessary. You see, it is important to leave a mark. It's important to have some sort of recognition as far as a particular project of a particular um, flagship policy was carried out. We don't have time. Like I indicated, these members of parliament, as we speak, are busy with their campaigns because it's an election year. So if it will sit well with the leadership, it is okay to issue introductory letters like for us to be recognized maybe publicly, but to waste the energy and the time to chase your respective MPs to make sure that they recognize you and all of that, I believe that that particular exercise might not exactly help this house. So what is important is to identify a particular need that this particular parliament wants to tackle and provide solutions to, so that we can have something attached to the very first. This is the very first parliament. We can have something attached to the very first parliament of um, the resolution 2250 youth parliament. You understand? We can have a legacy to protect. We can have a legacy that the successive parliament would also want to, glean on and say, okay, this is what our predecessors did, and so we might have to go a step further. I don't know if what I'm saying is something that
Yeah,
we
I
can all
agree with
agree
you.
with. Yes. So
Hello. Okay. I think
without having to do
okay.
any necessary work and identifying the particular need that we must all take care of should be considered and relooked at. I had a little break, but I believe that my concerns have been raised. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much, the majority leader, for indicating the relevance of this review. This review is because the first parliament has some foundations it has to do. So when we do those foundations, the subsequent parliaments would enjoy the benefits of our sufferings. So I call on all members of parliament to join us, make this parliament vibrant. And as I said, into the second parliament, it's just going to be simple. If you want to be part, then you just be reaffirmed. If you don't want to be part, your details are being removed, your seat is being advertised for replacement. And that all have to be done before the end of the year. So by the end of the year, then all the seats should be full. And then we can transition into the new parliament. If leaders will be appointed, will be appointed. If they'll be elected, they'll be elected. Yes, so I agree with you, Majority Leader.
Thank you. All right, Honorable Speaker, and I agree with you as well.
Thank you so much. There's a Honorable Abbas. I think you raised your hand. Please, you can ask your question or make your submission.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I was hearing of the appointment letters, and I don't know if they've been issued to member of parliaments or it's just the leadership that appointment letters have been issued to. That's what I wanted to. Because I don't have.
Thank you. The leaders of parliament, the only letter they have was the one that was issued on 1st July, and it is a wholesome letter indicating their appointment. Every member of parliament so appointed, as indicated in the database, have appointment letters designated to them, indicating their constituencies, tenure, and conditions of appointment. And the second deputy speaker has all appointment letters in her custody. Will share her contact so that members of parliament wishing to take the appointment letters can contact her. The appointment letters are ready. I think they have been ready for about 2 or 3 months now, if I'm right. Yes, so your appointment letters for the current parliament is ready. Thank you very much. Honourable members, in the absence of any other submission on this item on the other paper, we move to the next item, which is the opening of nominations for vacant seats. Per our database, we have 150, around 150 youth MPs. And we have more seats to fill, around 120 seats to fill. And with this entire 1 year of stagnation, it's highly possible that 30% of the so appointed members of parliament might have lost interest. So leadership will split themselves to contact every single member of parliament to know if they are interested in continuing their tenure. And per their indication, if they are interested in continuing, their details will be kept. If they are not interested, their appointment letters will be withdrawn, and then their seats will be open for nomination. The nomination forms are ready for sharing, but leadership has to do that exercise to ensure that we will not go back and forth. So right after leadership checks on every so appointed member of parliament to indicate their interest in being part of this house, the vacant seats will be open for nomination. Currently, nomination, the form is free and no dues are to be paid until the House agrees for such a financial commitment. But until then, everything is free. The global president and the country head bears all our expenses. And on behalf of the House, I want to express our gratitude to them because it's a lot of financial burden on them as well. So leadership will do that after the end of the sitting. Leadership will discuss how they are going to check our members and then have the indication. And I believe by the end of July, that should be done, and the nominations will be open for all seats to be filled. And when all seats are filled, as discussed, that is purposely for the second parliament, which should be inaugurated in January 2025. If we cannot get a physical interaction, it will be done online. And then until when we can have opportunity to sit physically. Honorable members, the floor is open on this particular item, opening of nominations for vacant seats. Please, you can raise your hand if you want to contribute on this. Yes, Honorable Majority Leader.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I believe that with your leadership as the majority speaker in the previous, I don't know whether to say previous parliament, but the previous duly constituted parliament.
Or just to save you, just refer to it as the first session.
The first session. All right.
Session of this parliament.
The first session of this parliament. I believe that your prowess has been tested very well, and it is for that reason you have been appointed as the speaker of the second session of this parliament. And so I am only of the hope that the way and manner we have begun this particular session of parliament and how the first sittings has been really constituted and convened, once we are able to indicate in the successive weeks and months that some seats are vacant and they need to be occupied and all that, your proactivity will ensure that this particular house achieves what it's supposed to have achieved in the first session. And so I agree that we must be able to advertise the various seats that are vacant, the persons who have unfortunately lost interest in their seats as parliamentary, um, leaders, members of parliament, or even some of the people who have lost hope and interest in their appointments as ministers and all that. Once those seats are made known to the general public and the right persons are selected, the process will be expedited and we can have another sitting for this session that will be happening in a very, very short but foreseeable future. So thank you very much. I believe that this is a step in the right direction, and we must all, help you to succeed in this particular area. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my able successor, of course. That was why you were chosen. Yeah, so the majority leader has as well supported this initiative that we need to revisit members of parliament and know their stand so that we can fill every seat and not to leave some seats that members no more have interest in hanging in the air. So leadership will contact all members of parliament to know their wish whether to continue serving or relinquish their seats to other interested persons. So leadership will do that. Honorable members, any other submission on this particular matter? Okay, I can see Hebzejo Brim.
Honorable Speaker, it's me, Honorable Joseph. I think I've swept my.
Oh, okay.
Sorry for confusing you. I apologize. apologize. Honorable Speaker, I think I am also in support of what Honorable Minority Leader said, and I think we can go ahead to advertise, then fill in. But first of all, just as we indicated, that we have to now look at the concern of the House to see, or contacting them to see if they are still interested or they are no longer interested. Then if they are no longer interested, then I think we can go ahead and call in or advertise, then we get new people on board. I'm really supportive of that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable, for supporting this initiative as well. As the majority leader, you want to make an indication or you left your hand up? Okay. Honorable member, so since this is the wish of the House, I don't know whether I should put the question on this because I think that is an obvious trajectory leadership ought to take. I'm not sure members will say, no, we shouldn't fill the seat. So I think on this particular matter, I need not put the question on this. Honourable members, we'll therefore move to item 6, formation of new committee on selection. Now, honourable members, at the first sitting of this honourable House, at the first session held on 1st May, we rightfully formed the committee on selection, of which I moved the motion in my then position as majority leader. As of now, per precedence and the rule of law, the committee still exists, but leadership has been revised. The right thing to do is for the House to dissolve that committee before a new one can be formed. May I honorably call on the majority leader to move the motion to dissolve the then committee on selection with the then speaker as chairman and the respective members. Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. As indicated, we are always going to be in support of what will ensure the progress of the House going forward because we are way, way behind. And we thank God once again that the House is back in session. I believe that members of the House must also avail themselves to be selected for uh, members of committees of parliament and of the executive as well. And so when the honorable speaker comes knocking at your doors, please avail yourself in whatever area that you think you can perform and deliver for the success of this particular parliament. And so with the honorable speaker as the chairman for for each of the committees, right?
For now, we have to dissolve the.
Did we even have an existing committee? I don't think any of the
Yes.
committees worked.
No, we didn't form committees, but we formed the committee on selection on 1st May 2023. That
Yes, we did.
committee still exists. So we need to dissolve that committee and form a new one today. Before we can now, that committee has the authority to appoint members to fill in all other committees of the House. So kindly move the motion to dissolve that committee we formed, the first committee on selection, chaired by the then speaker.
Okay. So on that note, and in the second session of the parliament, of the youth parliament, I move a motion for the dissolution of the committee on selection members.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Honourable members, a seconder to the motion to dissolve the then committee on selection. Yes, Honourable Brew, Joseph.
Honourable, I second the section, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, sir.
Honourable members, motion moved and seconded. I now put the question to the House. All members in favour that the committee on selection formed on 1st May 2023 at our first sitting be dissolved. All in favour say aye.
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 Not in favour say nay.
Aye.
Not in favour say nay. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion carries. Therefore, the then committee on selection formed at the first sitting of the first session, dated 1st May 2023, is hereby dissolved. Honourable members, in the right direction, we have to form the new committee on selection. The new committee on selection consists of the speaker as chairman, the clerk as secretary, and all other leaders as members. Majority Leader, kindly move the motion to form the new committee on selection.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. In the second session of the Youth Parliament under the International Youth Network, I move a motion for the formation of the Committee on Selection of this Parliament.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, a seconder to the formation of the new Committee on Selection. In the seconder, please unmute yourself and second the motion.
All right. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament in the House. I second this motion and I pray everything well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Majority Whip. Honourable members, motion moved and seconded for the formation of the new Committee on Selection responsible for forming all other committees of this Honourable House. I now put the question to the House. All members in favour of this motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Not in favour of this motion say nay. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion carries. Therefore, the new Committee on Selection, chaired by the Speaker of Parliament, Secretary as the clerk, and all other leaders of the House as members. is hereby accordingly and duly formed. Honourable members, for today, my hand is the gavel. Thank you.
That's fine, sir.
Honourable members,
It's fine, sir.
yes, thank you. So, honourable members, the committees of the House, the Committee on Selection would actually discuss, but before then, we need you to indicate committees that you are interested in. The committees of the House are, I think they are around 20 to 25, and they are all in the constitution of the IYN Ghana chapter. We'll share them with the House, and we need members to indicate to leadership the committees they wish to be part of. Each committee is supposed to have a member of parliament as a chairman, a member as a vice chairman, another member as a ranking member, obviously from the alternative caucus, and then another member as the deputy ranking member. The clerk, deputy clerks are supposed to serve as secretaries to each of these committees. So leadership will discuss to find a medium to aid members indicate their interests. However, right after the sitting, I would share the committees for members to look at. But there are some committees some leaders of the House are supposed to chair. So ahead of time, I wish to appoint them to start acting as respective chairs to these committees before the entire committee is being formed. First off, the business committee is supposed to be chaired by the majority leader. So majority leader, please, you are to act as the chairman of the business committee until the entire committee is being formed. The appointments committee is supposed to be chaired by the first deputy speaker. Please do so as acting chair until the entire committee is being formed. The privileges committee is to be chaired by the second deputy speaker. Please kindly act as chair of that committee until the entire committee is being formed. The standing orders committee is to be chaired by the speaker, myself. So I'll act as chair. And I'm sure we have an intelligence committee. The intelligence committee is to be chaired by the minority leader. Please act as chair. Please, in your acting capacities, you have limited powers. It's only for emergency use, where the committee ought to perform. But because the committee is not full yet, you perform their duty until the committee is duly formed. For example, the business committee is to present motions for our sittings for us to debate. But since the committee has not been fully formed yet, the majority leader will perform their duty until the committee is duly formed. So, in addition to the committee on selection, the acting chairs shall perform the duties of these 6 relevant committees, 5 relevant committees, until the committee is duly formed with limited jurisdiction. I so direct and rule. Honourable members, any comments on the developments of the House before we move to the next item? Honourable Majority Leader, any indications?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I believe that you have discharged this duty as far as the various committee and its formation must be headed. And so I also believe that the rest of the leadership of Parliament who are not present at the moment will be notified on the various committees that they must chair in order to expedite the business of Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. For members joining late, may I just repeat the new leadership for your attention. Speaker of Parliament, Johnson Omega Shibglo, that is Office of the Speaker. First Deputy Speaker, Farouk Bentil Enchi, Borough Constituency. Second Deputy Speaker, Victoria Jaka, Ufuasi Ayerbi. Office of the Majority Leader. Majority Leader, Honorable Bright Owusu-Ansah Umpraiso. Deputy Majority Leader, Mohammed Abdul Latif Sarengu. Majority Chief Whip, Honorable Victor Ajeman, German South. Office of the Minority Leader. The Minority Leader is Honorable Francis Kaben Malay Dade Kutupon. Deputy Minority Leader, Honorable Haruna Tajuden Tandai. And then the Minority Chief Whip, Honorable Isaac Ajapon Awuta Senior Ace. As I stated, the deputy whips, there are two deputies for each of the each of the concourses. Yes, they are yet to be filled. So members who might have interest in filling them can show interest. But at least we want one of the ladies to be part of the whips. As of now, we don't know how we are going to get a lady, but we need to fill these 4 slots before the next sitting. Yes, before the next sitting, we need to fill these 4 slots. So leadership is open to your interests. Leadership is open to your interests. We need very vibrant people to help us equip our caucuses. Yes. So, honourable members, that is all the business for today. And I want to indicate again that we need a graphic designer to design flyers for all members of parliament. So please, if you have someone who can help us, voluntarily, please draw our attention to it. We need a graphic designer. Honourable members, the main business for today's sitting has been duly exhausted. It's time for any other business. Honourable members, any other concerns you have, you can draw our attention to it, and thereafter we adjourn the house. Yes. Honourable members, the floor is open. Any other business? Honourable members, the floor is open for any other business. If you have a question or you have a contribution or you want to share a sentiment, this is the time to do so. Yes, Honorable Patrick Duet, the floor is yours.
All right, so right honorable speaker in the house, I need a bit of clarification on this. The last, leadership. I remember the last time we had our fiscal meeting, there was a discussion on the preparation towards our fiscal house or sitting place, just like other parliament units. To date, we've not heard anything about it. So far, what is the preparation towards it?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, I've been communicating with the global president on that, and she's working on a collaborative program with one group. We want to organize a very big youth summit, and she has lobbied for some hours to be given to us to quickly organize a sitting. But at that particular session, the main business for us to really do for the attention of the public will be to debate. So at that particular sitting, you might only have the opportunity to debate on a motion. Right after prayers, business committee report, we debate for about an hour, and then from there, the session closes, and then they continue with their program. As of now, the date being considered is, if I'm right, that's 27th of July. It's a physical sitting. They are looking at getting NAT hall, but their preparations are not set. That is why the entire information has not been shared yet, because they are inviting presidential candidates of each of the parties, and each of them need to indicate their presence and all the stakeholders. So they have a lot that they are doing. They want to ensure that plans are set before they start advertising the program. But I've been hinted upon that, and I want to inform the House that it's highly likely when plans are set, we'll be called upon to hold a short sitting purposely to hear us debate for the attention of members and the public. If you are lucky, your presidential candidate of choice will be there to witness your debate. So that particular physical sitting is highly likely to be purposed towards that. But apart from that, I have in mind to discuss with leaders the yes, I have in mind to discuss with leadership of the possibility of us holding joint sit holding. Yes, honorable members, can you hear me? Okay, very good. Yeah, so I have in mind to discuss the possibility of us holding joint sitting with all, and that to save the cost of organizing, get the venue, and even cost. And as you know, I as well parliament over by I'll be handing over. However, when that happens, we can hold a joint sitting with them. Accra Technical Parliament is also paying for joint sittings. So hold it to invest or any other house. And this is purposely to cut down the cost of organization. So leadership will discuss that, members will be consulted. But if we want a full physical sitting purposely for us, we don't know how that can be possible, but let's look at the possibilities. Yes, but for now, the opportunities available is that debate session at that program and joint sittings, physical sittings. Yeah, so that is for the House to note. Honourable members, joint any other comments? The floor is open for comments. Yes, I can see. Yes, Honourable Leader.
Thank you, Speaker. I think I've been speaking a lot tonight. But Honorable Francis Mal, I think his hand was already up before I raised my hand. So maybe you
All
can.
right, very much. Yes.
All right.
Yes, Honorable Leader. Yes, Honorable
Thank you very much.
Minority Leader.
I
Let's
want
hear
to
you.
on the identification. He's talking about giving an addition letter.
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Given members of us has less time or any time going somewhere. Capacity of this yes, office letters. Why don't we just get everyone an ID card so that when they are going somewhere to capacity of their office, they go ID card. No other use element therefore as compared to writing letters each time that a member is going to do something. Thank you very much.
Okay. The issue our ID cards is the cost of production. And even when it is being produced, it has to be given to members. And how would it be translated to members? Is it going to be when we sit or when we hold a sitting? These are issues concerned with the ID card. But the letter is very easy for the letter to be sent to you for you to print as colored at your convenience. That is why the attestation letter is preferred. But the ID card issue can be worked on in the next parliament. I'm sure by then we will have a stronger financial base to fund that. Thank you. Honorable Majority Leader.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable Francis's concern is it's something that is important to everybody of this house. Just as indicated, our funding is a problem. And because we have already wasted a lot of time in the past, I think entering into such a venture would be another, uh, time that will be exhausted over an exercise that is going to be too long for us to even get these things done. In fact, we have a lot of things to be done. There are seats that need to be filled, and you cannot, as it were, assume that everybody else is in the house and you're going to make ID cards or even issue out the introductory letters. And so I just want to talk on the lineup of activities for this parliament that has been scheduled. Just as I have indicated earlier, I pray that this house will be as effective as we wanted it to be, or we wish that it would be this session of the parliament. And we are hoping that the futuristic plans that the leadership and the global leadership has for this parliament will come to a fruition so that we can exercise our public speaking skills and also establish very good connects on the various events that will be held. I'm interested particularly in the
Hello? Uh, yes, Majority Leader, are you done with your comments? Hello? Okay. I think we lost the Majority Leader. Okay. Well noted. Honorable members, any other submission? Any other submission? Okay. In the absence of any other submission, can a motion be moved to adjourn the House? Yes, honorable members. Motion to adjourn the House, please.
With no further deliberation or submission, I, Honorable Francis Malakabe, therefore move the motion for the adjournment of the House. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Seconder to the motion.
All right. So I, Honorable Famosaki, I want to second the motion. That is Youth MP for Botiano English Amafu. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, motion moved and seconded that this House do not stand adjourned. I put the question to the House. All in favor, say aye.
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 Not in favor, say nay. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The motion carries. Therefore, this House do not stand adjourned till hopefully next week, when we hold our second sitting of the second session. Please do have a good day.
All right. Thank you very much, Honorable.